Hi, everyone.
Hi, happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday. We missed seeing you. It's kind of funny. Every week we come here and we do our recording, and we wishing we were talking to you face to face, but this is the best we can do for now. And just thank you to all of you for watching and being here with us in this way. We've had a bit of a slower week, not a whole lot going on here, but we've been walking around Sloan's Lake and enjoying the weather and the birds and springtime and spending time with our kids. So I know everybody's in a different situation, and some of you are working harder or working less or wishing you were working or spending a lot of time with your kids, but I hope that you are all doing well. I wanted to start off with just a short kind of inspiration I had. I was reading Godable this morning, and the section we're talking about true love and the path of true love and what it is to be a child in true love. So I'm just going to read this quote and then talk about it a little bit. Our path is the way of love. It is one path, whether an individual walks it or a family walks it. The way of love is the same for both. East or west, whatever one's race or nation, the way of love is the same for all. The direction does not differ. Between the path of love for the individual and the path of love for the family, only the number of people is different. The way is the same. It is one road with the same focal point. It is the path of God's love. Our birth is rooted in God's love. We were all born within an amazing path of love, which is connected to the cosmos and rooted in the original love within our parents. Even after the fall, this root holds strong. Our tendency to pursue goodness and our desire to add value remains. It is what makes historical restoration possible. That origin within us can foster new development. So I shared this quote on the community chat, but I really like it because we're in our faith. We often talk about restoration and the fall and how everything in our history has come about because of the fall. We talk about separation from God, and our life is our work to come back to God. And that is definitely a reality, and it's a huge part of why we live the way we do in our life of faith. But I love that True Father is reminding us in this quote that we were all born within an amazing path of love. And even after the fall, this root holds strong, and that our tendency to pursue goodness and our desire to add value remains. So I just love that he's connecting God's love to each and every one of us. Like you said, no matter what race, no matter where in the world you're from, if you're in a family or if you're just by yourself, we're all on this path of love, and that love that God created us with is still within us. And I just so connect to this so much because I talk about it a lot in my messages too, that no matter where you're at, no matter what you've done, there's always a path for us. God's love is always waiting for us. And I feel like sometimes we get stuck in the shame or guilt, or I should be doing more, I'm not the person I should be. And I think there's definitely, we need to acknowledge those things. But I think we need to also be reminded, and I love that True Father is reminding us that we're created in love, and that for every single person there's that potential and to pursue goodness and to add value. So I had another thing I wanted to add into that, and I'll come back to it when I think of it. But I do think that that's a good reminder for us being at home. Same as last week, same as the week before that. There's not a whole lot that we can do that we maybe normally would do. We can't go out witnessing to people. We can't have gatherings. We can't do a lot of things. But we can love people. We can love the people that we're with, and we can love the people through Zoom calls, and we can develop our heart in those ways. So I was thinking about it from God's perspective. There, in the history of the world, there's always big events happening, and a lot of the times they're not very good. In this case, it's not great, but also it's not. At least we're not killing each other. It's not a world war, We're all affected and we're all impacted, but I feel like God can use this time to touch each of our hearts in a new way. God's not discouraged by the coronavirus. God's not stuck or too worried. I think that God's like, oh, this is an opportunity. This is an opportunity for people to maybe open their eyes a little bit more, open their hearts a little bit more, let love into their life a little bit more. And so I think that with that perspective, a lot of good will come out of it. And just wanted to remind you that our birth is rooted in God's love. Whether we are born, into this faith and in blessed families, or whether we're not, our birth is still rooted in God's love, and that God has a very real relationship with each one of us and a personal love for each one of us. So that's my little message, and we have a few things to just share with you, kind of updates and announcements as well.
Thank you. Did you think of that thing that you forgot about?
No.
Okay. Maybe next week. Well, we want to share a few announcements. First of all, you may have seen that the Denver mayor has extended the stay-at-home order until May 8th, I believe. So our initial hope to be able to start having services again by the 17th is pretty much not possible. Of course, we don't know when, but at this point, groups of gatherings over 100 people, we just don't see that happening until at least June. So it will keep you up to date, but that's kind of where we're at right now. So yeah, that's the way it goes. We also can imagine that this is also going to really impact a lot of people who have been affected financially or economically because of your jobs, or because of reduced hours, or because if your business was considered non-essential or something like that. And I'm just like we were hoping to be able to get back to church. You're probably hoping to be able to get back to work, or hoping to be able to make more money, or make the amount of money you were making before, to be able to make ends meet. So anyway, we were thinking about you and praying for you, and please don't forget that if you find yourself in a difficult situation, we do have the Lifeboat Fund. It's available for our members, and that's a way in which we may be able to help. Depending on your situation. So
you can email or call Dr. Hendrick to apply for that, or to donate to it.
Yeah, donate to it as well.
Mm-hmm. Also, along with that, in consideration is our family camp, and we had it scheduled for the last weekend in June, and we've been in communication with the staff of the camp, and we asked if they had any other available weekends in case we needed to postpone, and they have a weekend available at the end of July. So even though we don't know what the situation is going to be at the end of June, we went ahead and postponed family camp to the last weekend in July. It's a Saturday through Tuesday. I believe it's the 25th through 28th of July. And so we're really crossing our fingers and hoping that will work out for us. But you can go ahead and mark your calendars. And we won't release a sign up or registration yet, because we don't want everybody to sign up and pay their money and everything, and then it turns out that we're not able to do it anyway. So we're going to wait for confirmation that we actually can do it, and then when we're sure that we can hold it, then we'll let you guys know, and you can sign up for it and pay for it and everything. But we did want to let you know when it's going to be, the 25th or the 28th of July. And set aside, hopefully we can make it work for that.
Yeah, and if those dates don't end up working for some reason, we'll probably just end up having to cancel for the year.
Yeah, so hopefully that's not the case. But if it doesn't work out for the end of July, then we'll just be really happy next year when we can do it. So, yeah.
Another thing that actually has worked out really well since we postponed the family camp is that at that same weekend that we were originally going to have the family camp is Camp Lonestar as our sub-regional summer camp in Dallas, or not Dallas, but in the Way countryside of Texas. And that's going to be from June 28th to July 4th. They've actually asked us to come down and be the main speakers for the workshop. So we accepted. And so we're going to be going down, assuming, once again, that
Same
it's
thing as
actually going to
family
happen.
camp. Yeah, if it happens, then...
Although I think Texas is probably more likely to happen, also being in the countryside. But assuming all things go well, we'll be going down there and giving them the presentations, the main presentations. I'm sure that will also include us sharing our testimony, our blessing experience, experience raising kids. I don't know. There's many different things, but this is, if you have any kids in middle school, high school, and you're thinking about summer camp experiences for them, maybe take a look at Camp Lonestar. We also have other great camps all around the country, but this is one option. We just wanted to let you know that we're going to be speaking, so it may have some influence on what your plans are.
And it's a fun place to be.
Mm-hmm.
And lastly, I mentioned that last week that in our community chat, the idea came out that we create a community cookbook. People were talking about how much their kids loved other families' meals and what meals they love from the other family. And we thought, well, since we can't get together as a community in person, we can do a community project and we can share with each other, we can contribute to each other in a fun way. And so Mike has created a Google Doc or link that we'll be sending out to you that you can fill in with your recipe name, picture, directions and ingredients and instructions. And also we'd like it if you include just a little bit of family history or about that recipe or what's special about it. These are the types of recipes that you would make that your kids just love, and so this is like the recipe you make every Saturday night, or if you have guests come over, this is like what you're famous for making for people. So
it doesn't have to be even like some kind of a fancy gourmet type of dish.
It can be your fancy mac and cheese that you add bacon to or whatever.
Well, I remember growing up, one thing I really loved is when my mom would buy a store-bought pizza and then she just put a bunch of extra ingredients on it, something, anything like that.
It doesn't have to, it just whatever makes it yours. So we'd really love it if, you don't have to participate. We'd love it if every family could contribute one or maybe two recipes, and then we'll compile them and hopefully we'll be able to print it into like cookbook that we can provide for a minimal cost, or at the very least a digital copy. And then this can be like our quarantine cookbook for the Denver Family Church. So
maybe if we can get it done soon enough, people can try the recipes while we're still in quarantine. That could actually work out.
And we'll have something to talk about when we all get back together again.
Yeah.
So that's it that we have for you guys this week. It feels like it's getting long, and we miss seeing all of you. But thank you so much for watching. Please join our community chat next Saturday to see us in person. And we'll keep you updated with anything that goes on with our emails and things throughout the week.
Yep.
All right. Love you.
Bye.
Bye.